Bhagavad Gita as it is, Chapter 3, Text 32. Ye tve tadabhyasuyanto nanutishtanti me matam sarvajnana vimudamstan vidhinashtana chetasaha. Synonyms: Ye, those; tu, however; etad, this; abhyasuyantaha, out of envy; na, do not; anutishtanti, regularly perform; me, my; matam, injunction; sarva jnana, all sorts of knowledge; vimudhan, perfectly befooled; tan, they are; vidhi, know it well; nashtan, all ruined; achetasaha, without Krishna consciousness. Translation: But those who, out of envy, disregard these teachings and do not practice them regularly are to be considered bereft of all knowledge, befooled and doomed to ignorance and bondage. Purport: The flaw of not being Krishna conscious is clearly stated herein. As there is punishment for disobedience to the order of the Supreme Executive Head, so there is certainly punishment for the disobedience of the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A disobedient person, however great he may be, is ignorant of his own self, of the Supreme Brahman and Paramatma and the Personality of Godhead due to a vacant heart. Therefore, there is no hope of perfection of life for him. Text 33. Sadrisham cheshtate swasyaha prakriter jnanavanapi prakritim yanti bhutani nigraha kim karishyati. Synonyms: Sadrisham, accordingly; cheshtate, tries; swasyaha, in one's own nature; prakritehe, modes; jnanavan, the learned; api, although; prakritim, nature; yanti, undergo; bhutani, all living entities; nigraha, suppression; kim, what; karishyati, can do. Translation: Even a man of knowledge acts according to his own nature, for everyone follows his nature. What can repression accomplish? Purport: Unless one is situated on the transcendental platform of Krishna consciousness, he cannot get free from the influence of the modes of material nature, as it is confirmed by the Lord in the 7th chapter, Chapter 7, Text 14. Therefore, even for the most highly educated person on the mundane plane, it is impossible to get out of the entanglement of Maya simply by theoretical knowledge or by separating the soul from the body. There are many so-called spiritualists who outwardly pose to be advanced in the science, but inwardly or privately are completely under the particular modes of nature which they are unable to surpass. Academically, one may be very learned, but because of his long association with material nature, he is in bondage. Krishna consciousness helps one to get out of the material entanglement, even though one may be engaged in his prescribed duties. Therefore, without being fully in Krishna consciousness, no one should suddenly give up his prescribed duties and become a so-called yogi or transcendentalist artificially. It is better to be situated in one's position and to try to attain Krishna consciousness under superior training. Thus, one may be freed from the clutches of Maya. Text 34. Indriyasyendriyasyarte ragadveshau vyavastitau tayorna vashamagachet tau hyasya paripantinau. Synonyms. Indriyasya, of the senses. Indriyasya arte, in the sense objects. Raga, attachment. Dveshau, also in detachment. Vyavastitau, put under regulations. Tayoho, of them. Na, never. Vasham, control. Agachet, one should come. Tau, those. He, certainly are. Asya, his. Paripantinau, stumbling blocks. Translation. Attraction and repulsion for sense objects are felt by embodied beings, but one should not fall under the control of senses and sense objects because they are stumbling blocks on the path of self-realization. Purport. Those who are in Krishna consciousness are naturally reluctant to engage in material sense gratifications. But those who are not in such consciousness should follow the rules and regulations of the revealed scriptures. Unrestricted sense enjoyment is the cause of material engagement, but one who follows the rules and regulations of the revealed scriptures does not become entangled by the sense objects. For example, sex enjoyment is a necessity for the conditioned soul, and sex enjoyment is allowed under the license of marriage ties. For example, according to scriptural injunctions, one is forbidden to engage in sex relationships with any women other than one's wife. All other women are to be considered as one's mother. But in spite of such injunctions, a man is still inclined to have sex relationships with other women. These propensities are to be curbed, otherwise they will be stumbling blocks on the path of self-realization. As long as the material body is there, the necessities of the material body are allowed, but under rules and regulations. And yet, we should not rely upon the control of such allowances. One has to follow those rules and regulations unattached to them because practice of sense gratifications under regulations may also lead one to go astray, as much as there is always the chance of an accident even on the royal roads. Although they may be very carefully maintained, no one can guarantee that there will be no danger even on the safest road. The sense enjoyment spirit has been current a very long time owing to material association. Therefore, in spite of regulated sense enjoyment, there is every chance of falling down. Therefore, any attachment for regulated sense enjoyment must also be avoided by all means. But action in the loving service of Krishna detaches one from all kinds of sensory activities. Therefore, no one should try to be detached from Krishna consciousness at any stage of life. The whole purpose of detachment from all kinds of sense attachment is ultimately to become situated on the platform of Krishna consciousness.